Oh gosh.
Hello, and this is Friday the 17th, and this is the Alchemical Read class. And I'm Robert.
And Suzanne, we're Clarity.
I'm Suzanne. I'm Sandra. Oh, forgot who I was. I'm Suzanne.
And I'm Christina.
And there you have it. And we are going to just jump right on in to the Alchemical Mind entry for today, which is, let me make that a little bigger on the screen.
Okay.
Whoops. Go on. There you go.
Oh, thanks, Robert.
Yeah, I'll make it a little bigger here. That ought to help lots. Okay, today's is air seed of earth, squaring the circle. Squaring the circle is the mental alchemical process of transferring an airy concept from the mental plane to the physical dimension so the objective conception and birth become a demonstrative reality. Dr. John Mumford, Magical Tatwas. There you go.
Yeah, it's really wonderful to have the garden starting to come alive and having a place to sit outside and it's just such a miracle that we have spaces like this in our world when there's a lot of people that don't. And I'm so grateful.
Me too.
In the center of our square tree temple garden is a circle of blooming May apples. Isn't that what they are? And a circular table with Marisa, the Dakini goddess of abundance. I sit in the red swing in the entrance temple and ask to square the circle in my life so that clarity and abundance become a demonstrative reality. Air, seed of earth, squaring the circle.
That's a very good thing to have become a demonstrative reality.
Well, I love the thing about sitting in the temple garden now and having that opportunity, and that we've just set up the Dakini goddess of abundance, Marisa, into that space just a couple of weeks ago, and it's just lovely to watch all the wildflowers coming up and circling our world and squaring the circle in our own lives. So I felt the support of that today. That's really great.
It is wonderful. And to go with this one was the flower imprint. So we're talking about the garden. So here's a flower imprint. And this one is Lady's Mantle, Nasturtium, and Ivy.
Ooh, what a nice trio.
It says Lady's Mantle, Nasturtium, and Ivy are three botanical wonders that share a profound vibrational concordance. Each plant embodies a unique essence that continues to create a harmonious and visually captivating symphony. Lady's Mantle, with its delicate leaves adorned with droplets of dew, exudes an air of ethereal beauty.
And see, Lady's Mantle, she's known for that, the dew droplets that she gathers. And people, like you go and you drink that dew in the morning and you get this special essence of her.
And then Nasturtium, with its vibrant trumpet-shaped flowers, brings forth a burst of color and vitality. Ivy, with its cascading tendrils and evergreen foliage, invokes a sense of timeless grace and endurance. Together, these three plants form a trinity of botanical harmony, seamlessly blending their individual energies to create a unified and captivating tapestry of nature's beauty.
Oh, yeah. I love them. I've always loved this card. It's beautiful.
I love it too. So you can find that at alchemicalmind.blogspot.com.
And the flower print is on our Sigil Codex, where you can look at, how many are there? 50? Flower imprints.
Yeah, like 54.
That you can take those in. They're right there on Sigil Codex.
Yeah, so just go to the imprintio patterns and you'll find it. Okay, now we're going to go from here to the class and what we've written in the book, and this is, let me make that bigger. Let's see, maybe go a little bigger than that.
I love this cover.
Okay, and this one is the collage is everything is exactly according to plan, even if we do not know what exactly it is in every detail, because we dared to listen. And the title for this week's is from that top part of the conversation. Everything is exactly according to plan, even if we do not know.
Yeah.
So
I just love
that's
that.
a good
It's just absolutely perfect.
trust spot,
Yes,
isn't it?
it
And
sure
so
is.
here's a copyright page for May 17th issue, and then, okay, May 17th
Oh.
issue. Everything is exactly according to plan, even if we do not know. Introduction. Lift the code, live as you are, know your coordinates, and speak your worthy language. I love that. And here, I'll make this bigger so you can see the collage there.
The complexity of hearing is increased as you become more heard, and the patterning increases into a lush awareness of home elsewhere.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
wow.
I love that.
Yeah.
All the collages here, we're in the process of doing new work, and we have 2 pieces completely done, and we have 3 pieces about halfway done. And they're very different. They're very kind of like maps almost in a way, and codes, and then they're really beautiful. And but we thought, we love doing the pieces we did at our last show that had the acrylics, but lots of the crayons. We love working with that. But that isn't like the upfront thing in these pieces. They're wonderful. They're very detailed codes and mapping on them. They're almost galactic. Okay.
Yeah.
The complexity of hearing is increased as you become more heard, and the partnering increases into a lush awareness of home and elsewhere. And I think this whole book is building and supporting and the really intensity of thought that comes from elsewhere. Thought that actually we have to learn to trust, that comes from the higher parts of ourselves. So I love this piece. Okay.
We're recording beautifully. Okay. Everything is exactly according to plan.
Yeah, we're
even if we
checking
do
the
not
recording
know.
this time.
Yeah, and I'm going to fix that one capital. That's right.
We hope, Diane, you did enjoy the part that we added on.
Yeah. Okay. Because we listen, we do not know the every detail, and this comes about by not demanding a full understanding before trusting. The relationship is built by a plan too big to grasp.
Wow.
And I think this is so key on learning to hear, is that you have to, there's all kinds of hearing. So it depends on what you want to hear. But the more you want to hear from the divine, and you want to hear from what you can trust to guide you, to show you the way, that you're going to have to develop a real ability to work with the black and white of things. The black and white is like it's sight before you understand it. It's like a baby that's being born and it sees only black and white, and then as it's more in the world, it starts to see color. And for us, when we have information that's completely unknown, it's like we open ourselves completely up to it. We are working with black and white. A lot of people can't work with black and white. They can't. They don't have that much curiosity, but they also can't work with things that they don't fully understand, and they can't trust something that they don't fully understand. And so they have a big gap there when it comes out in black and white. They got a bit of a wait before it starts coloring out, and so that affects their timing, and it affects the timing of your willingness to hear in the moment, and so it's kind of really important at this time, where there's so much mystery and there's so much unknown, that we become willing to hear, even if we don't understand it, because that's the only way we're going to know where to go.
Yeah.
To move it.
Yeah.
So because we listen, we do not know every detail. Honey, can you read it?
And this comes about by not demanding a full understanding before trusting. The relationship is built by a plan too big to grasp. We shrink to the age of a child. We become the pea beneath so many mattresses that we can hardly breathe. But we listen for the sounds that carry the notes clear and fresh. That's when we throw open the windows and doors.
Oh, I love
I
that.
love it.
Can we read the collage?
We'll make that a little bigger too, if we can.
You
Come
have
on.
to make it bigger.
I'm trying to, and it's not doing it. Hold on. There we go. Too big, too big.
I got my glasses now. I didn't have them.
Hold on. I gotta get... Okay,
Funny thing with this, 1 minute the glasses help, and the next minute they don't.
there we go. Now I got a little bit bigger, and I think there you go. You can see
Okay.
the whole thing.
Before the miracle, there was the ordinary, and it spoke a new language, more organic and dirt-filled. You always knew it was coming to you, the mother.
Wow.
That's really good. I love the words and the collage. How that is so. That's like the little character up there is almost like the angelic energy, but also it's like you. It's like the persona sitting there in the corner.
Wow, that
Love
is
that.
incredible.
So before the miracle, there was the ordinary, and it spoke a new language, more organic and dirt-filled. You always knew it was coming to you, the mother.
Wow. Okay, make that smaller again.
We never shrink away from, but always toward the light that affords us the time and space to create. Our ability to adjust is immense, and our willingness to forego many things in order to be available to the path of the red thread and its needle of exact. I think, like in this time, it's like you wonder, as you change your whole life, it's like it's affected your whole life. And certain things, you disappoint certain people, even your children, and it's like you've mothered them, but it's time to mother yourself, and they're not used to that that Codio reference.
And sometimes they never get used to it.
Yeah. And so what happens is that then you wonder, well, how did this happen to me? I was really wonderful. And it's really, that's why it happened, is because you were wonderful. And the thing is when it's time for that wonderful to come into your consciousness and your life, then your wonderfulness is kind of questionable anymore, because it's not going to others, it's coming to you. And the thing is anybody that really cares, when they bring it to themselves, they know it always will go back out. It'll go back out to everyone. But you have to have the courage to bring it to you. And so it's kind of confusing at times. But it's a very valuable thing to get okay with and to register.
Very valuable. Precision is within the eye of the needle, and the hole, W-H-O-L-E, that it passes through. Woven by the threads of longing and the brilliance of light, we are able to follow the lineage of the mother ancient and present.
I love that.
And that's
Beautiful.
Coloring codes, engaging shapes, drawing out lines, occupying space. All there is in being is allowed the bend and forthcoming speed. And this is part of this piece, yeah, where this happens, and you can see the speed change in there, and it's like this is what these parts of the piece are telling us. This part of the piece is its content is that color codes, engaging shapes, drawing out lines, and occupying space. All there is in being is all there is in being. Is allowed the bend and forthcoming speed. So this piece is actually helping with the corrugation and the bend.
Yeah.
And different parts of it are codial telling us, you know, what the forthcoming speed is and how to be ready. And so they've come together to talk about that. It's like, you know, pieces there and it's just sitting there and you could write about it. But I love this where I engage different parts of the piece, and this is what the piece is talking about. So there's a lot, you get the imprint of the different parts along with what the language is. So I love this way of learning.
It's a very powerful way. What calls for allowing is listening, and what calls for listening is the ability to give time to the space needed. The moments add to the music of sound, the voice of compassion.
And it's also giving time for the black and white to unfold. Give time for the understanding. Then the following, everything can start recognizing and unfolding, and then, but it's like a lot of times we won't listen if we don't understand it. And that way, we have a hard relationship of black and white with our own self. The parts of ourselves that could speak to us and prepare us, they're in the black and white, and because we don't understand it, we have no time for that. But that's how we're actually prepared ahead of time. So preparing ourselves to work with the black and white in our lives is very affordable and very needed right now, because there's a lot of black and white in this world right now. Probably more than any of us are used to. And those who have learned to work with and listen to their own black and white, they can work with this easier than those that haven't. And if there's a part of you that resists that, have had something in your life that's imprinted you to be afraid of that black and white, then you're going to have a hard time with it. And so this whole body of work is to help you adjust with ease from moving from black and white to color, and learning how to actually trust and listen with that understanding. Because that's the way you know about what you need to know. The moments add to the music of sound and the voice of compassion.
There's never a time that is not available. Oh, there's never a time that is not available. Never a time that space closes in on creative self-expression. Only when convinced there is no time, no space, no creativity, are we led away from light. And this is with this one.
It's all in the making of Rede and sitting outside of resistance. When the child is forgiven of its mystery and allowed freedom. Because that's the beginning, the child, the new, the emblem egg, it all has to be forgiven of its mystery, because its mystery is in the black and white. And you have to allow that child, that new you, that emblem egg, to be black and white for the time it needs before it starts becoming color. So that part of you that sits in the black and white and is not quite comfortable with not knowing everything. I mean, how many of us know what's for sure what's inside the egg? Then we're in the black and white. And until you crack the egg, do you see the color?
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be willing to sit with the egg, sit on the egg, sit into the egg. And then by the time you're done, you crack the egg and there's all that wonderful yellow.
Mm-hmm.
But somebody has to sit on the egg, as Emblick, has to sit on the egg when it's in the black and white. Did we read that one?
Uh-huh.
Can you read it again?
Bottom.
There's never a time that is not available, never a time that space closes in on its creative self-expression. Only when convinced there is no time, no space, no creativity, are we led away from light.
And this happens every day. Every day we have that happen. There is no time.
Yeah.
Okay.
The mathematic of unlimitedness is generous in its findings, but limited in its full expression inside of containment. To find the workaround from containment to space-time is to be able to engage those convinced of limit, but desiring expansion and expression.
Wait, go back up a minute. Okay. Thank you, honey.
The radius of the containment field is immense, but the field is dissolving its ability to contain, and therefore what has been created beyond containment will penetrate with rapid light.
Okay.
And there's
I love this. This is just a little piece in the whole piece.
Yeah.
But she is just, she's just wondrous. The mother word entangles the tongue and wraps in her pitch. Let go. Let down into her juices. Make love to your own mind. Engage your thoughts in love.
Wow.
The flicker of an eye sees beyond the ordinary, beyond the containment, and this peripheral vision allows for the possibilities thought impossible.
I love that it allows the impossible to become thought.
Lean into the peripheral field of vision and find your way home. There are countless volumes of entry into stepping beyond. Many of these are found in our Fishfile Codex books, all 26 volumes, an alphabetic primer about the travel.
Wow. And it is so, I mean, we've been going back into them and like, oh my gosh, I knew this, but I didn't really. And it's really been wonderful.
And then this is...
Okay.
There we go.
I love this. This is little bits of this whole big piece, but it's, you can see it all together, but there's something about seeing it in its own worlds, because it's like all of them are like different countries are all in the same world, but it's like seeing this one and that one, and it's like one piece is France, one piece is England, one piece is Greece. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Wow.
You, what is that? Y'all listen to
Is that your Kentucky accent there?
Yeah, I think
Y'all
so.
listen?
I hope I fixed it, but what happens is when you fix it, where you actually, after you work with the collage, it goes into the collage archive. But you don't pick it up from the archive to use it. It goes to your pictures. So you got it in the collage archive, and then it goes to your recents. So, and there from the recents, you put it on. You put it into things. But what happens is if y'all get it right, if I fix it, if something's like that, not right, and I go back and I fix it, then what's in recents is the y'all
both of
and the good one. And after a while, it's like when I'm picking up pictures,
Yeah.
I see the picture, but I can't read it because it's too small. And it's kind of confusing. And then sometimes I go ahead and take them both over, and then I go back and I look at it and I delete that. But evidently I didn't do that with that one. Y'all was still
I like the
there.
yo.
Y'all listened. You are the core of yourself. You are mother fed. Her words are your words. You trust the mother word in you.
Mm.
There you go. So Yule is a mother word.
Oh, maybe that's it.
Uh-huh.
You'll listen.
It's
Yule.
outside the rules.
You will,
Outside
or you
the
like you will.
containment,
You'll listen.
You will listen.
You
Yeah.
you listened.
Happy Yule.
You
Yeah,
are
yeah.
the core of yourself. You are mother fed. Oh, I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Her words are your words. You trust the mother word in you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, see, this is inside this piece. And so these pieces all together create that rotation that shifts the consciousness to become the mother word in you.
Yeah.
And that's magic, really.
It is.
It's like one piece. I've never done this before, but we've used this one piece to make the collages for the whole book.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And so you're not only getting the book, but you're getting all the language
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and the relationship
All the
of all the
perspectives
parts
of
of this
language in
piece,
it. Yeah.
of this whole world.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You want to read this one?
To get from there to here has been arduous, frightening, joyous, fun, scary, and most of all, adventurous. We started with a smaller map possible. Ourselves, is it smallest?
Smallest, yeah.
The smallest map possible, ourselves, and kept adding pages to the map as each day passed.
Oh.
That's awesome.
Mm.
We knew there was a plan, but we were aware of the very beginning that the plan was bigger than big, bigger than vast, bigger than immense.
Mm.
And this is another collage. And I love how the tulip came into there.
Mm-hmm.
And she's blooming on the side of the house, on the other side. And because she's the cutting through.
Oh,
she's
pretty.
She's like
She almost
cutting
looks like a
through.
buttercup, too.
Yeah.
She's wonderful.
Opened up like
Being
that,
very
yeah.
playful, yeah.
Yeah. Breaking through like tulip, cutting up the ground above, making sure that time allows the new room to change the old.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And we're in spring, so this is perfect.
It is perfect.
I love this part where you see all this black
Excuse
with all the
Mm-hmm.
writing and the codial and there's crayons there.
Mm-hmm.
I love just looking at it. It's like I can almost feel it, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And then here we are working at the bottom on the bigger piece and at an earlier stage. And then our decks that we use, you know, from Susanna's world are part of the play of the tulip.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's me kind of looking
there.
through the old bindweed.
The old bindweed.
Yeah, that we gradually took down but kind of wound her up so you never know where she'll appear again.
Mm-hmm.
And then the yellow cupping tulip. Isn't that beautiful?
It is beautiful. I love that.
The rabbit hole was at our feet each morning. And we always let go and jumped in. Literature, mathematics, art, music, each lead us through from one dimensional shift to the next. Isn't that delicious?
Mhm.
I love that.
Mm.
Oh, not commanded. Oh, no, that's right. We commanded no one, not even ourselves. We led no one, not even ourselves. We only ever listened and shared what we ourselves heard.
That is so true.
Mm-hmm. We wrote and drew and painted and conversed.
That is it.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that way.
Mm-hmm. We
That's a
commanded
great picture
no
of
one.
Robert, too.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
it's lots more colorful on your thing than it is up here on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
the beginning of the unknown, revealing itself from within the mystery. We open we open without understanding, balancing on the tip of the brush.
I love
Yes.
that.
And the neat thing about seeing pictures and movies of us painting, it is where we are. It's to see where we are. Because that is in the air. And we are there with that understanding, balancing on the tip of the brush. We have no premeditated idea of what this is going to be and or what it's about. And that allows it to be so much bigger a mystery than we could ever think possible, because we don't have any boundaries on it.
Yeah.
And that's the key. It's the key thing about us and what we've had to become and learn. And I think about our lives when things are really kind of bumpy and everything. It's like almost becoming that whole of sitting in that void, sitting in the not understanding, and it's really like you can't figure it all out, but somehow it comes to you.
Yeah.
Somehow it comes with all its beautiful parts, and it sets you free. And we could have never figured it out. And that is one of the most wonderful mysteries of all. That would be why people would come to live. Not being all rattled up and tortured and worried and stressed and sick. We don't come for that. We come for the beginning of the unknown revealing itself from within the mystery. We come to open without understanding, balancing on the tip of the brush. Because if we don't have to understand, we do not limit the divine. I mean, how are we going to ever understand all of that? We have to understand it, then you're not going to have any miracles. You're not going to have something beyond your boundaries. You're not even going to have a conversation with a being that is beyond your own intellect. So that means you're never going to have a conversation with your existential presence.
We have been forever moving forward, expanding expression and allowing space and time their acreage. The excitement is always in the breath we breathe in. The breath we breathe. Because we entered this life despite the odds against the both of us.
That is so true, because both of us almost
Near death was our
before we were
companion.
born. Yeah.
Near death was our companion, and it let go of the both of us at birth, so that we could complete what we so ardently know. Death does not want us. It was never death. It was dearth, earth, scarcity that makes dear.
Wow.
That's what dearth means, scarcity that makes dear.
And that's kind of interesting, because as we've had to work with scarcity, it's made things even dearer to us in different ways. And that's all becoming the potent imbricate. Putting it down is a gesture of trust and embodiment of love. Loving what you see of yet.
Loving what you as of yet.
Oh yeah, I didn't read it right. Loving what you see as of yet. Do not know, only feel as present. So it's a lot of times that we love things and move, and we just feel them, but we really don't understand what we're feeling, and we have to embody it from that. Can you read that again? I'd like to just hear
Putting it down is a gesture of trust and embodiment of love. loving what you as of yet do not know, only feel as present.
Now, in these collages, what we're also sharing is what is going on that you're watching. And this is, you're watching a process of becoming. It's going from the black and white, and then it's moving on out, and then it starts to become color, and then it is full color. And this is where we have to be, as artists we are. This is talking about our process. So putting it down is a gesture of trust. Taking that pen and putting it down to the canvas is a gesture of trust and embodiment of love. To even come to the point where you take that pen, you put it to the canvas, wherever, where you choose, is a gesture of trust. And when you start moving the pen, you're in an embodiment of love. You are loving, you are trusting what you love, and you're loving what you trust.
Wow.
That's where we have to be to paint. To paint the way we paint, there's all places that you have, but to paint the way we paint, we have to be there.
Yeah.
And we've had to learn to be there. Loving what you as of yet, loving what you as of yet do not know, only feel as present.
Yeah, that's a great description.
This is in so many fairy tales. The thing about true love, there is the princess that doesn't see the prince. He only comes in the dark, in the mystery, in the night. And she has to learn to love him from that space.
Right.
And if she does, then she finally, is one with the prince. And she goes through all these arduous, horrible things because, she can't stand that black and white very long, and so she's got to get a little candle and a little match and light the room, and it blows everything up, and then all at once she's not quite ready for as much color as the prince is. And he's lived in the black and white, so he's not quite ready for all the colors she is.
Yeah.
And so that's what these fairy tales are telling us.
Wow.
And it's about the relationship with your deep unknown that goes all the way back to your relationship for what created you unknown. And so in this, every fairy tale is talking to us about this kind of embodiment of love. And you have to accept the beautiful being without seeing it, without knowing his face, without understanding all about him.
Wow.
And it's the mystery that is one of the keenest things to assist you to become fully who you are. Because part of the time, that prince is you. It's that part of you that you only get to have glimpses of in the dark. Maybe in a dark time, or maybe in the dark where you nobody can see you as you are who you are. I think that's why I love fairy tales. And I read them all my life, and I collect them, and I read them as a young girl, and I just never quit, because I was very in love with the mystery. And that's how I learned about it. I learned about it in the fairy tales, and then I became that fairy tale. And I remember that when my ex-husband had first asked me to marry him, I told him that that he really wasn't my true love. And he looked at me and he said, he thought that was very funny. And he thought that was so cute of me. But it was the truth. I loved him, but I knew he wasn't my true love. And finally, my true love came, and I left. And it's like when you know that young that you love someone and you care about them, but they are not
Right.
your true love. And you know there's something really, if you love them and they're not your true love, then what is that? And it is the mystery. And then one day, I met Robert. And he scared me to death because I knew he was my true love. And that my life could never be the same. There are many ways that we come to this. And many people experience it in different things. Maybe a profession they chose that they was very convenient and they liked it until one day their true love profession, their art, their whole being can step into comes, and they walk away. Sometimes they bankrupt themselves. Sometimes they call for all the family that they love to go on this adventure with them. And the family is very lucky if they do. But they don't always. And so they journey out alone. But you know what? It doesn't stop. That kind of embodiment of love is a great longing inside. So putting it down is a gesture of trust and embodiment of love. Loving what you, as of yet, do not know, only feel as present.
That. Gaia is singular in her positional hold on the orbit of the sun. She centers the light with consciousness that emits its own brilliance, leading consciousness beyond limit. We feel the glowing, the growing, the flowering of the garden plan. Our hands and feet are in the dirt. The ink stains our fingertips. Paint is on our arms and painters' aprons. We are colored by the products of doing and the living of a colorful life.
Oh.
And you think about these pieces right now, this piece. This piece has been in the making since 2019. Usually we do a whole new body of work every year, but this one has taken longer.
Yeah. Wow.
And it stayed in the black and white for a very long time.
Interesting. Yeah.
And at times I thought that it was going to be a stillbirth. It was going to be never alive enough. And it's been really like exhausting to stay in the black and white that long. You're like a full-term baby that can't be born. And this was a real come around because Sandra, who I work closely with, was actually having to birth out of the fear of the black and white because she lost a full-term child. And he was in the black and white, and he never came into color. And I lost a 4-month pregnancy, but to lose a full term is, I think, unbearable. And she and I have worked hard on getting the content of what black and white is and how to bring it into color. And in this, finally, she could come out of the fear of the black and white.
Yeah.
And that is her own voice. Her own voice was in the black and white with that child. So that child to come through this and to come out of the black and white is to come out of the loss.
Yeah.
And to also come into the voice that was silenced at that time.
Yeah.
Nobody wanted to talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about that now, Sandra?
I feel wonderful. And thank you. That is the greatest explanation that my mind has needed for 50 some odd years. And I am totally relieved to be able to.
And I told her, and I am not the absolute perfect reader, but I feel real certain that that child was her twin flame.
Yeah. I feel that too. Never ever expected that, but that.
This
But
work
now-
is deep,
Mhm.
and it will find you where you need.
Yeah.
So I'm really grateful. And I'm grateful, Sandra, that this finally moved into color.
Yeah.
I
I'm so sorry. I can't imagine anyone having to go through that. Many women do, but I know how much important childbirth is to me,
Mm-hmm.
and the
Yeah.
birthing of my children, how I cradled that and how much it meant to me when they were okay. I just couldn't even imagine what that would be like.
Mm-hmm. But I also hid it from myself all these years.
So you want to read this collage for us?
Yes. And it looks so much like a birth.
I didn't think about that, but
The
it
canal
does.
coming down and then into the
Mhm.
black. Reaching the top of everything, you cancel the pitch of climb. You realize everything is cellular at the bottom of the next level.
Wow.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that for me.
You're welcome. Did we get the part underneath it? Okay. We are outside the lines, but inside as well. We know how and why and when, and we convey the hope that compassion always brings. What happens you build?
As you build. Yeah.
What
It
happens
changed it. I love
as
this
you
computer.
build?
It just writes its own little sentences sometimes.
A slide. What happens as you build a slide from the edge of your bed to the rabbit hole? I love that.
Oh, wow.
That is really cool.
Yeah, but I put a question mark there, hadn't I?
Okay.
There's the smile of recognition. Cheshire, the cat of many talents, reappears, so that the gist of this story connects to the familiar of outlandish, the ordinary of surreal, and the complex of simple.
Oh my God, that is so much the mystery.
Mm-hmm.
This is the mother. She is a small part of this piece.
No, but she,
And
She's
it's
getting
like
bigger and bigger.
She is so, look at her little wings,
Yeah.
isn't she? And it's
like a
funny,
bee.
as I look at the black,
Mm-hmm.
I can see her face.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I can see her eyes and her nose and her
Yep, yep.
little red hat, but
Mhm.
she's just beautiful.
And she's looking right at you.
Yeah. And she's got this little blue arm and a little red hand. It's just so funny because you wonder what she's doing, but she knows what she's doing.
Mm-hmm.
On the edge of something really profound, engaging something lost, not found before you, and still alive, waiting for your virgin years.
Oh, wow. Whoa.
You want to read that
That's
too?
a sound worth listening to. On the edge of something really profound, engaging something lost, not found before you, and still alive, waiting for your virgin ears.
She's looking. It's looking more like she's in front of a microphone.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's
Yeah,
Oh, that is so great. I love that.
I do too.
It's tea time. Take a breath. Put your head back on so that your hat sits properly atop your head and think. 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 What was it you ate last night before you could
That could have.
possibly given you such odd dreams?
Mhm. Well, it's true. The spirits can do it all in one night. The bed sheets are still there. You aren't really weighted down by chains of indecision or fear. And the day is clear, whether it's raining out or not.
Oh my God, I love that.
that.
I think that above you might want a question mark. Giving you such.
Oh, yeah.
What was it?
Thank you. Here you
The
go.
beginning starts with accepting the uncalculated, wild born, the perspective of no choice, just unknown. Be empty.
Mhm. Very much goes with this page, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Wow.
What is that? Be happy.
Mhm.
Here's
Yeah.
be empty.
Be empty.
Oh, and I
love it.
love this collage because
Mhm.
it's a close up of part of the piece, and then this little cellular woman here that's in red, and she looks like she's singing. You know,
Mhm.
Yeah, she's
Mhm.
coming.
she has the yellow hair,
Mhm.
and she's in this piece.
Very profound little giant person.
Mm-hmm. Papered awareness unfolds you, especially as you become more and more aware of your presence within story, your own story, your imaginal realm places you as character within the center of what you are. I love that everybody gets to be a character in their stories.
Yep. Coming to terms with what you are being begins the first chapter of a very long novel life. Staying out of your own story only puts you in someone else's.
Oh.
And for that, there are no maps, just detours.
Ooh.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
That
That's
is really
profound.
profound.
Mm.
Oh my God. It's really important to stay in our own story.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've been thinking about the film Inkheart,
Mm-hmm.
and how all of that was about being in your story and not being in your story, and that was pretty profound.
Yeah.
And had a lot to it. Living stones for touching are put into places from the future to light the pathway, and your senses know them in the quickest moment.
Wow.
So I love that because it's like
Living stones.
there are touching stones. If you are willing to allow that in your life, I love this. When I looked up was something, this came up, living stones, and I thought, I think I like that better. And so living stones for touching are put into places from the future to light the pathway, and your senses know them in the quickest moment. So our senses actually can recognize all the touching stones of the pathway. We just have to learn to be able to notice them, to be able to know more of what we already know. And what we already know is in the black and white. And if we can allow ourselves to touch in the black and white, it will lead us into color. And this is really important to remember how important the intuitive is, and that you sense them in the quickest moment. So it's like, it's not a time where you think about it or you try to get information. You have a sensing, you have like signals, and you have sensing that actually signals your body and signals you. but we've become numb to them, and we've become like there's so much going on. It's like the razzmatazz. It's so much going on that and it's going on so that we don't notice what our senses are trying to quicken. That's why we have these times that we have to sit and listen. We have to sit in the sun. We have to meditate. We have to just sit with ourselves and begin to notice the quickening that's happening through our senses. And then once we notice it, then sometimes when we're busy, it's so familiar, we will actually see it. It's like not seeing peripherally, because we're always looking straight ahead, but in the peripheral is where we see the other worlds. And the signals come out of that peripheral. That's why when someone is overloaded, you know, the whole thing about the, oh, whatever. What is that?
The Vegas.
The vagus nerve. Vegas. It's like you went to Las Vegas. That the vagus nerve is taking in everything. It's like in Las Vegas. You know, your body, you're looking ahead, you're calm. But the vagus nerve is in Las Vegas. I'll never forget it now. It's like it notices all this peripheral stuff, and all at once you feel like you're sitting there and you're being, you know, really just doing your daily stuff. But somehow you start getting a little nervous and a little uncomfortable, and you need a reset because there's too much going on in Las Vegas. And so what you have to do is take your hands, put your hands behind your head. You take your arms and you let your elbows go straight out on both sides, and then you become this little. You've got yourself locked. You're not this. You're locked straight ahead, and now we're going to find out what's going in Las Vegas. So then you go and you take your eyes, not your head, but your eyes, and you take your eyes and you put them way over to the right, and you look over there in Vegas. See, and then all at once you'll yawn, and then you'll say, "Oh well, that was nothing. I'm okay." But I thought maybe it was an alien or a fairy or something else. Then you go over to the left-hand side, and you look over there and you see what's going on in Las Vegas. And then until you feel okay. And you make a yawn and you say, "Oh, I'm safe, I'm okay." And then you're what's called a reset. So you got too much going on in Las Vegas, you're going to need some resets. In that vagus nerve is what calms you down and makes you want to feel cozy, and it's what helps you relax before you go to bed. So if you got too much going on in Las Vegas, then the Vegas is starting to signal you, and you start not feeling safe. And so it's because there's too much going on. There's too many other things going on in your sensory perception.
Yes.
And so what you do is you bring yourself home. You bring yourself into your center. And then you learn, if you do it enough, it gets so that it resets real quick, that you're okay in that world. That world that you don't quite, it's still in the black and white, and you don't quite know what's going on there. Then what you do, you take a little time and you check it out, and then after you realize that you're okay, I needed that, and then you get a reset. Okay, go back up there where I was talking about it. You moved too fast. Okay, so you look at this imprint, and that looks like Las Vegas. I mean, they got enough going on in there, and what they're really saying, okay, this is in your Las Vegas, but we're putting it in Codial and showing you what you see but you don't see. And so in this work, this looks like, you know, there's little things there, and there's all this writing going on around it, and all these different Codial things. That is what's in Las Vegas. that's in your vagus nerves. Know your
Nerves,
vagus knows about it, but you don't. You're just getting the sensory thing overload. So what you do is you just visit Las Vegas and you say, oh, okay, that's okay. Okay, I'm all right. Oh, okay, I'm safe. And then you go over the other one, and then and some takes longer. Sometimes the right side goes real fast, and the left side really takes longer. And that's just your body sensory system of how long it takes to reset from what's going on. And this piece is all about that. And I now understand this show better. This show is it's very busy. It's very Vegas. And I need a lot of Vegas help. So in here, it shows you what's going on in Las Vegas. And so then, okay, well, I feel better. I understand it now. It maps it out, and it does little codal things. It tells you all about it. And you say, well, that's what's coming in the future on the right? Okay. Well, I feel better because I understand it now better. And then you get a reset. So these pieces of work that we're doing right now are tremendous amount of content put into a piece, and the content is not exaggerated because that is the content of what the vagus nerve is dealing with in your fields. So a lot of people are having trouble with their vagus. They're not so comfortable with what's going on in Las Vegas. And so they're starting to have little problems, and there's all these kind of little things you do, you tapping, that helps take care of what's going on in Las Vegas. And so you gradually, you may not even understand it, but all these reading points are codial. And so you reset your lip, you reset your underlip, you reset the top of your head. And I've seen people that, we studied about tapping and how good that is, but why are you doing this little thing? Because you're working with Las Vegas. You're tapping because you're overloaded with something, or you want something to move because it's upsetting, or you need to calm something, or you want to actually be able to do something. And the thing is that so when you have that, whether you're tapping or not, touching those areas on your head, on your forehead, them alone are part of the resets for the vagus. That's why the tapping is not just the language, but the tapping itself is resetting the vagus nerve. Isn't that great?
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
And so this piece is about resetting the vagus. It's about telling you what's going on. And then after you read it in your codial way, and you allow yourself that knows how to work with black and white to get the information it needs so that it's not overwhelmed anymore. That make good?
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, and this piece is wonderful.
So your touching stones are these places on your body. They are the touching stones that you talk to you tell your vagus, oh, this is all right, I got this. Okay. Casting out your own voice only gives it to someone else. Using your voice, however, always includes you in the unfoldment of what the Tea Party is. The Boston Tea Party was not a joke, and neither was Alice's. So her Tea Party is not a joke. It's way beyond just for the children.
Yeah.
Adding up the numbers and letters, you'll find a much better avenue of approach to your entire storyline timeline. There are numerous ways to get there, but the easiest one centers around you.
This is part of the smaller second piece that we did, which is really cool. I love this piece.
Oh, the textures are...
And there's a lot of mapping in it in codial. Responding, preparing, listening, all part of what the code requires. Initiatory process will accept nothing else, so sit into it. I thought that was very to the point.
Yes,
That's a small
sure
but
is.
very sassy piece.
Yes.
Yes.
Just sit in.
Yes, well surrender.
Yeah, and you see that it's lots of marking codes. It really turned out really fun.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Very few were actually taught this because it is disruptive to the flow of limitational systems. We are on track and fundamentally adjacent to the course of adjustment, which brings us to the dot in the center of the circle.
Isn't that perfect with that
Wow.
circle?
Yeah.
Wow.
Gold, golden, shiny. The gloss of the red thread always catches the eye, and if you follow the line of it, you will be surprised at just how much it gives. Compassion, love, well-being, gratitude, gratefulness.
And this is a bigger, it's not the whole piece, but it's a little bigger picture of it. And that dot in the center, I just love that was in the collage.
Mm-hmm.
What is held now is pure potential, put forth in word, line, pattern, and color.
Mm-hmm. All wonderful qualities woven into the weave of cloth you are, stitched into, stitched onto, stitched through. You are a piece of work, and it shows. Tumbled, rumbled, tossed, and patched, as real as it comes.
I love that.
Wow.
Everything is exactly, and that brings such joy, such happiness, such lightness. And when the grid of limitation presses down, such heaviness. To bring levitation to what seems pressing, breathe. Your breath lights you up on the inside.
Wow.
And as you inhale, exhale, the blinds are lifted so you can see. Oh, that is beautiful.
Wow.
Whoa.
You want to say anything about that, sweetheart?
I liked it though. One piece knowing it all in its small marks of an accurate code. One piece, a window into accountant of the power of all.
And that's speaking to that this whole book is one piece.
Mm-hmm.
Intention moves what you need to do in order for the forward direction to turn the curve with ease. Bend into yourself easily, knowing that the key is the ease and the difficult is the lock. Wow. Turn the key without knowing everything there is to know. Read yourself aloud. Use your words. Look at the map that we've navigated for you. So many words, such a large story to become aware of. Wow.
All is made by the beginning numbers, and what comes is aligned with all that is needed, known and unknown. Acceptance, the gift.
Oh, wow. So that circle is like acceptance.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's what it's talking about.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
The listening is now in the right pitch. The allowing surrounds it, and the ordinary of the world goes back to being ordinary, so that the unordinary has a place to live. That's pretty,
Yeah.
Trying to live in an ordinary world is not very ordinary for the unordinary, and creates quite a press to cave in and lose thought, lose pictures, lose words, fiery words, inner worthy pictures, and somehow we all think that this is okay. Wow.
The language is more thin, yet scaling, and the counsel is pitching. We enter from the sides of the storm to create a slide for ease. That goes with what this is being talked about.
Made me think of the film we saw too, with that the whole storm coming in in Louisiana. Remember that in the film? I thought about that. The ordinary world is all too important for real wings. it has to paste them on. And when it gets hot, they fall off and refall out of the sky of the remarkable. I love them. They have to paste them on because they're not real. Pasty wings are all too pasty, and they stick on everything, but never quite hold when the wind begins to blow. If you are still hiding your real wings, and you are fortunate enough that they have not cut them off, you someday can really fly.
Oh,
that's beautiful.
In accordance with the soul of will, you remain whole and complete as who you are.
Wow, I love that.
I do too.
Did you have that power? Hours are too long for our short little bodies, so we corrugate them up under our arms for safekeeping. Foliage sometimes tries to roll up into them, and if we sit too long, like we're part of the scenery. So we must move around a bit more from time to time than the usual ordinary world. We are not ordinary, and you must not be too, since ordinary people do not read our work. They have no need because all their needs satisfy the ordinary world, and they fit in. So their courage does not have to grow up over the weeds.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Awkward is the beginning, traced into place are many positions of start, bending into its position of start. And sometimes the body is uncomfortable. It's all black and white.
Yep, that's so good. There's a new crop coming that doesn't look quite ordinary, and they call them indigo, as if their color sorts them out. Indigo, one of our favorites, is tightly fastened to our wings, so they call us blue avians, but we are just birds of a feather that speak blue.
I love that. You know, those litmus tests that tell you all kinds of things. Well, this one tells you you are not ordinary. Sorry, they are fail-proof. This book is about living that blue life with blue wings, blue language, blue hearts, blue smoke that comes out of your ears when you begin to create.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
So now we are looking up to it, and we see those blue smoke signals. We know it's time to paint up a world full of content so no one is kept wordless, and the fearless eat it up like candy corn. No, our art is not about the ordinary world. It's not even about the unordinary world. It's about the real world and its language that shows us how to be blue.
The full message of the intuitive is that you are into a tilt, and you don't feel upside down. You're always night side up, and the tilt is you leaning into a real life.
Who comes up first? Who comes up last is not the question. It's a round way, so all come up as they wish, in a way of blue. We don't count the risk. We count the rise and make it potent for us all. Well, she's rather blue.
Yes.
Now we understand.
Oh, they
They
are.
is, but
They are. They are. And on.
I love they is.
Oops. Let's see our little.
They is much more blue.
They are much more blue here than anyone realizes, and this is so heartwarming to be here in this world at this time.
Oh, well, she's blue too.
Uh-huh.
Making it up is always good for a fresh, intuitive start. Make sure all your seeds are blue, and they won't carry the heaviness of what can't germinate. Spit on the seed of yourself and give it a good luck of watery DNA. Don't plant your garden without spitting on your seeds, so they will remember you and feed you differently. They know the pattern of blue when it is spit on them. Locate yourself in this world as a pattern breaker and break up all those old roots that you were taught were true. You may dislodge some old family blocking ways, but you'll come up true to who you originally are. Coming through many shadows of arcing windows, you become a fresh light that bends and cuts through a new arc. Look at that blue coming through there. Isn't that cool? Giving into the stroke of first thought, we begin to encounter the motionary large that can actually consume, originate, germinate the depths of our soul initiative.
The folding forces of this time no longer conceal the rich consciousness that is underground, emerging as a new reality of decision making divine emergence. Yeah, I need a comma right there, I think. There we go.
Can you put decision as capital?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. We are now made more councils.
Mm-hmm.
Something's funny.
It was counsel. Let's see.
Maybe counseled. We are now made
Probably
more counseled by our inner world as a whole planet than ever before. Everybody thinks they're coming in a bad time, but there's more people that are counseled by themselves than ever before. The edge of change from this is beginning to cut into the old pattern of belief. We need the form, we need the made, we need the whole particle of awareness in all its consumable parts. The full encounter of potential is spoken in the world as real by many. Ooh, there she's letting you know.
She's getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Love it.
Yeah.
The book goes along.
She almost reminds me of a bee.
Yeah,
also.
she is. She looks like a Melissa.
She's like a
Little
Melissa,
bee.
yeah. We are part of that many, even if it's barely known, because this many is to be known on many more levels than before.
Well, and that's pretty much the whole piece, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, there might
Just
be,
about, yeah.
but it's big.
There's
big.
more that way, yeah. But there's a lot of it there.
The holding spark of awareness is moving through the whole mycelial system of the universe, and it has already carried us through, and we are returning to integrate it through the mycelial of this planetary awareness. And what this is talking about, when we first started, we went way out to the very edge, and then we gathered what we needed and started coming back with it, and we're now in that space of, what can you read it? I can't read it with you. Yeah. The holding spark of awareness is moving through the whole mycelial system of the universe, and it has already carried us through, and we are returning to integrate it through the mycelial of this planetary awareness.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And that is the map of that.
Yeah.
The mark of hearing is hard to hold when there is so much other sound, but we have made our ears keen to the distance And we must trust in this kind of awareness existing in totality, in a totality.
Mm-hmm.
And here you got another view of this piece in the making. I think that's really a beautiful.
Oh, that's beautiful.
The distance has been immense, the closeness intimate to our hearts, and the sounds of listening create such an expanse that we can move and breathe with ease, and our demeanor calms to the ecstasy of divine.
Mm.
I love that. That calms us.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Held within the grasp of tenderness, we become soft and pliable to our own good selves, and we open up to the generosity of the cosmos. Here we hear, here we listen, here we can speak and be heard.
I love that part of the piece.
Mm-hmm.
Bending and folding into the depths of a conscious intention allows for the grace of weave to support the travel from world to world.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why so much in the work it talks about bending into it.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason is because of it's very important. We gain by letting go. We gain by listening deeply. We gain by being ready. We flow with the river. We step into, and we float with the ease of buoyancy. This brings us into the thread of the story. Oh, I love that.
Completed just in time for the present ending, yet open enough for the next chapter. Watch as your hand turns to see what time it is. You are never late when you are in time, and space has a seat for you.
And that looks like the seat in the space.
Yeah.
No, that's what I was thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Closure. Imprint into yourself your own codials and ask for the memory of your own mapping to return, to lead you into your way. And I love this character there.
I know.
She's like, she's
They're
on a
great
ship or
characters.
something, you know, looking out. Cruise.
Great characters.
Mm-hmm.
And there we are, the publishers, and then we have one last collage.
What a cooperative pair that vibrates through the codial awareness, making sure that the formational current is free and unbound.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Really, that pattern is really so much about that.
Mm-hmm.
That's beautiful.
Wow.
I think, yep, that's the end right there. A lot in this little book.
What?
A lot in this little book.
Oh, God. We needed this little book. Boy, it was just
Yes.
you need it. It's in your hands. There it is. I really love the cover for this.
There's a whole lot of
Mhm,
inspiration
me too.
going on.
Yeah.
Wow.
So Robert's going to work with getting this out to
Flip book.
yeah, getting that as a flip book to you, and we appreciate so much your being here for this work, Diane, and we appreciate everyone that decides to come to listen at different points in time. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm. Really grateful.
So we're going to now move over to the next part of the class, which is Sandra and Suzanne and Christina bringing things that really were potent for them back to us again to really potentize the whole thing. You guys ready?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yes.
Now, which one of you is going to speak?
Sandra.
Robert, are we still
I guess I got-
recording?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
Are we still?
Yeah, we're putting you out. You're the oldest. We're going to stick you
Yes,
out there
the
first.
old lady.
Yeah, we'll see if you live, then we'll try.
Well, this has been quite a week for me, and so much of what you've written has been the.
I'm laying back, so you have to talk a little lighter, louder.
Okay, I'm laying back.
That's the part where I need to rest my back.
So, like I said, this week has been, so much of this is what I have been able to become aware of this week, and with the help of this family. And the whole theory of black and white has been something that that I didn't know it existed as such. I always thought that black and white was just the culmination of color, and have worked with color not as an art form, but as a form of helping someone be able to surround themselves with the colors that their soul needs. But now I'm seeing that that color has to come after they've come out of the black and white.
Oh, that's cool.
Not before. And that was a real change for me, but it was certainly a personal change for me, as Suzanne pointed out, about the birth process, that I basically blanked, not blanked out that it happened, but blanked out how it happened and how I worked with it afterward, and kind of pushed it to the back of my memory. So the fact of giving time for the understanding of the black and white, that is what needs to be allowed. And I've had help this week being allowed to take time for myself and go back and bring it forward.
Well, you realize too that they were working with and gave you a drug
Right.
that was in the black and white,
Yes.
that they had not really worked with it long enough to bring it into color.
Yeah,
And that's really dangerous
it is, and it
to
was dangerous.
utilize
Yeah.
At birth.
Yeah.
And you're not really as conscious of that as they are. And I
Right.
was made very conscious of it because I was RN consultant. That what I did was review drugs
Right.
that, like whole nursing homes, that people were using and being used,
Yeah.
and to
Being
review
used,
them
yeah.
to see how they were actually doing and how long they'd been on it, and because nobody was watching.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was very aware of it. Now, see, you wouldn't have known about that much.
No, I mean, yeah.
I mean, most people didn't. They didn't know the difference between black and white drugs
Right.
and drugs that had already been moved into color, and that they knew all, they knew about how they worked.
Mm-hmm.
They should have never done that with
Yeah.
you.
So I was still in the black and white for another 3 years after that, until I decided to have another child, and that was successful. But wow, to know what those 3 or 4 years were, just how ignorant I was, and that there are countless volumes of entry into stepping beyond. It's found in the Fishfile Codex, and that group of books has always been amazing to me. That how detailed they are, and how thinking that we even have relationship with fish, just and knowing that those fish files held all that information about us, and the whole process of becoming aware and becoming conscious. And so I've loved those, and I love the process of being able to work with them and help type them up for the books. And they meant a lot to me when we were doing that.
And I'm grateful for all your help with that.
Oh, and I gotta go to page 9. I'm coming. And that on your collage on page 9 was breaking through like tulip, cutting up the ground above, making sure that time allows new room to change the old. And boy, we have wonderful tulips, but each time I've seen them, I look at them during the day as I think of the fact that they're cutting, and they're making change. And I think that's helped me because a lot of the things that I've pulled this week has been in reference to allowing the flower essence, the flowers, to speak to me and help me through this process. So I love that collage. It's very special.
Oh, thank you. I love that.
And I love several times in our little sessions in the mornings, we've had a wisdom card that talks about the mark made. And in here you're talking about balancing on the tip of the brush a gesture of trust. And each one that has a pen in your hand or Robert's hand, actually, if you look at them, they're actually vibrating. You've caught the vibration inside the photo.
Oh, wow.
And it's just awesome.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, I mean, I look at it and I'm like, oh my God, it's still writing.
Oh, wow.
So that's just one of them. But I mean, there's so many that they're actually still vibrating as you're, and that's what you're, and you balance, your mark is made, you are so much on being inside the tip of the brush. You know, I mean, I've not known any, you know, you see people brush, but they've kind of thought about it. You know, you see they dab it in the brush, in the paint, and then they swirl. But every time you all put down the point of a pen or a brush, it's just running out of the pen. It's running out of the brush. It's not something you're thinking about. And that's so honest. And I love the pasty wings.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that was awesome.
I know. Yeah. I like the whole concept of that. And that through going through the black and white and coming out, that you may dislodge some old family blocking. And I think that's another thing I've kept in the past, wanting to know more about myself and more about the future. I've kind of blocked things out, and lately those kind of things have been coming forward, because if I don't block them, if I don't understand them and undo them, then they'll stay with me for the rest of my life, and I don't want that. And the last thing I got was ask for the memory of your own mapping to return. And I think that's what this piece, when you all showed it to us, is the white markings. And you said, Suzanne said, they're mappings, they're maps. And I think that's one of the funnest things that's come back through. I just love those white lines. I don't know how much more to say about it, but now they're asking a memory of my own mapping to return.
Oh, I love that.
And it's
I'm very excited about this show now after this class. So much more.
And if you go down to page 10, which I'm looking on my thing, this is a thing where you're writing with a white pen. And to me, whether it's it looks like the base of the pen inside your fingers is vibrating.
Wow.
I don't know if anybody.
Thank you.
So that's how real
really cool,
these
yeah.
photographs are.
Well, it's funny because when we'd taken a video when we were doing this, and then I'd gotten pictures. I took pictures of the end thing or during it. But at one point I wanted more pictures, and so I did something I haven't done hardly at all ever, is I went back and I looked at the videos and I took pictures of the video.
So that may be what it was.
That's the vibration you're
capturing
seeing.
that.
It got captured.
Oh my word.
Yes. Oh, I love that.
And see, I couldn't have gotten it because I was busy being it.
Right.
But I could go back and get the
Well, you sure did.
be
You
in
did
it.
a great job.
And I didn't notice that. That's what we caught there.
yeah,
Oh, I
it's
love
showing the
that.
essence of what.
Whoa.
So I'm very grateful, and I'm looking forward to reading it again because it,
Oh yeah.
I think that's not all, but that's all. That's what I wrote down. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was
wonderful.
beautiful.
That was cool. Well, I got the Kuan Yin for the class was number 24. Purposed are your words. Let their rhythm and language penetrate the environment until the mood changes and you feel the lift of what you have become. Understanding. Which is just
Oh,
fabulous.
It was
We've been
perfect.
moving through the black and white to more understanding, and this book would talk about the words penetrating and the rhythm changing everything. So I felt that through this whole book, and I think one of the things that I really appreciated as you were explaining and unpacking that the collages made from this new body of work, these paintings, is all about helping to be able to show us what's going on in the periphery that is in the black and white, and what makes you still feel uncomfortable or unsafe or unsettled, and it's providing the codial information to help us reset the vagus and not feel so overwhelmed, and or at least that's what I gleaned or wrote down from the things you were saying. And
But
it
you know,
just
the vagus nerve is what carries all your electrical.
yeah,
So it's
Yeah.
knowing more about your
it's the main
electricity
highway. Yeah.
and your power and
yeah.
your usage.
Yes.
So
Okay. Mm-hmm.
whatever we work with, it's always a consciousness we are. And so we are learning all about that as we're learning about the Vegas.
Right.
So
Oh my
what's
God.
going on in Las Vegas is like, I have to tell you, the freezer, there's 2 freezers down there, and one is using up a lot more electricity
Yeah.
than the other. So it's got a lot more going on in
Yeah.
Las Vegas.
Yes.
And so we're going to quiet that down.
That's right.
So it's like that. Getting to know more about our electrical power, which is your nervous system.
Yes.
Right.
Last year we worked with the wiring of the nervous system, the whole wiring of the electricity in this house, and that's your wiring. Now we're we're working deeper with that electrical current and the power of it, and how we get it reset and in order, that we're in control of it.
Yes.
Yes.
I love that.
Thank you.
But I just can't believe the gift of having a whole body of work that gives you that much information that you would need right now.
Yeah.
That I need right now. And
that's what each week does.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because there's a lot that feels unsettling. There's a lot right now that is making me feel unsafe or uncomfortable, or because it's just not known to me right now.
Exactly.
So there's these things in the periphery that, because of that unknown, it's putting stress on that vagus nerve and on that whole electrical system, nervous system, to be ruffled and unsettled. And but these codials are now going to settle that down, are going to give information so that I can feel
well, also learning how to project out into the future.
yeah.
And one of the things when that is all ruffled, they tell you to go out and walk and get a larger perspective,
Yes.
Right.
so that your eyes move back and forth instead of just like this.
Right.
And so you get a little bit of that vagus nerve reset. And that way you become, so in your whole electrical system, you have to learn how to work with that and settle it and reset it.
Mm-hmm.
And that is in our inner world and our outer world. So
yes.
this is
Quite
yeah.
profound.
Yeah,
Yes.
right.
And once you get it on the inner world, then the outer world doesn't need to talk about it.
I love that.
I love
It
that.
doesn't get to
Okay. Yep, that's
embellish
really
it
good.
at all.
That's really good. And I love that, speaking to that, and also like what the Kuan Yin was, to bring levitation to what seems pressing, breathe. Your breath lights you up on the inside. As you exhale, the blinds are lifted so that you can see. And I just love that, because that is what's happening, is you're getting your electrical system lit up inside, and you're breathing out, exhaling the things that have kept you blinded or kept the blinds down so that you couldn't see. So I really, and there's been a meditation that I've been doing some this week, and I was just telling Christina about it too, that where they talk about the fact that your breath has been with you since the moment you were born. And so it is your closest link to your existential presence, your original
Also, it's
pattern.
the closest link to your black and white.
Yes, and the divine. You know, I mean, the divine that you are. And so it anchors. It can be used as an anchor that you can always rely on. You know, that you can always,
beautiful.
when you are being pressed, feeling unsafe, feeling all those things, you can go back to that. Just keep bringing yourself back to that breath. And I think that's why so many meditations and practices and visualizations always use that, you know, as your reference point. But it helped me to kind of think more. And this quote from this book really reminded me more about why that is so important. So I really liked that.
Thank you.
And I loved, we are not ordinary. Ordinary people have no need, because all of their needs satisfy the ordinary world, and they fit in. So their courage does not have to grow up over the weeds. I really appreciated that. And I loved that for a lot of people who have known me know my issues with the vertigo and things like that, and balance. And I love this line. It's yet another new perspective to take in about the tilt is you leaning into a real life.
Wow.
And I am really
I
taking
love
that in and going to start perceiving when that happens and I'm feeling off, quote unquote, or feeling tilty, and that I'm actually taking steps to lean into a real life. So that
So
all
all at
of
once
this
you're
has
leaning
been
out of the ordinary world,
exactly,
and you feel a little unbalanced.
Exactly. And now having more tools to work with to feel
It would
more
change it.
safe and feel not so unsettled by that is
Can
Wow.
you read that again?
Beautiful.
the tilt is you leaning into a real life.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've noticed that too.
I really love this book.
Oh.
It's
Yeah, it is just phenomenal. And I loved our ability to adjust is immense. And I really feel that. We've had to go through a lot of that. And our willingness to forego many things in order to be available to the path of the red thread and its needle of exact.
oh,
I
that's
feel
so
like we're
true.
really
I don't think I've
there.
yawned in
I
any
know.
class as much as I'm yawning in this one.
Oh.
Every time you do that, it's a reset.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. I just was kind of moved in taking in the quote where it said, "Only when convinced that there is no time, no space,
Oh,
no creativity are we led away from light."
wow.
And so just kind of taking that in, where are the places where I get convinced that I don't have time or I don't have space or I don't have any creativity. That's when I'm being led away from the light that
Yes.
I am and that is there.
Oh, that's beautiful.
It's just interesting. I'm just still kind of taking in what it means, but I like it. Is that reaching the top of everything, you cancel the pitch of climb. You realize everything is cellular at the bottom of the next level.
Yeah,
So
I'm black and
it's
white
like,
on that.
Yeah, but somehow
it's
there's
fabulous.
this feeling like that you don't need to climb so much anymore. That what you suddenly start realizing is that each new level that you're shifting into is always going to be about the cellular moment. It's always going to be at a cellular level, and that there's real potency in realizing that you don't have to keep climbing to find something that at the very, I don't know, that's what I understand at the moment or feel about it, that there was just something very cool. And I like the quote, "The beginning starts with accepting the uncalculated wild born, the perspective of no choice, just unknown, and be empty."
Wow.
That seems pretty profound.
I love that. Yeah.
And then I'll just conclude with my I'll just conclude here with a paragraph that I loved. "Coming to terms with what you are being begins the first chapter of a very long novel life. Staying out of your own story only puts you in someone else's. And for that, there are no maps, just detours."
Oh.
And that's good advice.
I love that too.
I thought that was great. Did I leave some?
Did you leave any morsels for me?
Yes. Take it.
I really enjoyed the "ask for the memory of your own mapping to lead you into your way."
Yes.
And I think that's really cool to think about the memory of your own mapping and kind of to activate that.
I like that too.
I really thought that was inspiring. I love your breath lights you up on the inside. As you exhale, the blinds are lifted so that you can see.
I love that one too.
That's really great because, I mean, like you were saying, it's like the power of the breath and all the different ways with resetting your nervous system and all the different ways, with inspiring movement and all the ways you can incorporate the breath, but to think of it like it's lighting you up on the inside. That's so cool. And I think about that movie, The Holiday, when she's staying in the really fancy house in LA and she finds the button that lifts the blinds up automatically, and she's just like, "This is amazing." And so I picture that lifting when you exhale, that those automatic blinds lift up so we can see
so cool.
like a new picture.
Oh, that's awesome.
I love how movies can give you that visual.
It is wonderful that way.
I really enjoy the breaking through like tulip, cutting up the ground above, making sure that time allows the new room to change the old. And the tulip's always been so fabulous as the part of the Oya deck, right?
Yeah.
And I think that this just felt like another level of that collage. Just felt like another level of that tulip, and more of what it meant. So I think that image of that yellow tulip blown open like that and seeing the sacred geometry and
Inside.
the yellow
Oh, yeah.
and
And
that
the black.
beautiful. I mean, you can see why Georgia O'Keeffe was so inspired by flowers like that, getting into it. And but I just love how you captured the detail on the inside of that flower, and it's kind of like looking at the detail of yourself, like in a deeper way.
That's cool.
And I zoomed in on it, and it just was very inspiring.
Well, these new pieces have the two that we're now in process of painting have a lot of yellow and black.
Oh,
Yeah.
new ones, yeah, that are
It's
out
like
I
at the
mean,
first.
more than I've ever done in a
Yeah,
so
a lot of
like
yellow.
so it's showing like from what
Interesting.
you said
Very
that
high.
this is cutting edge. This is
Yeah,
cutting up through. These pieces are
Wow.
that's true.
yeah, and after many years, that's quite a job for
Yeah.
them to cut up through.
I love that the piece on
Thank you for talking
in the
about it that
corner
way.
there of the piece, and where you could see the buildup of the paint
The
or
paint.
the collage.
Yeah.
To me, it's like it's alive. I mean, it's like looking at the tulip
Oh, thank you.
and just
Thank you for making that big
I
for
just
us.
love those things.
That was beautiful, Christina.
Thank you.
Now, before you go to sleep, finish telling us all the wonderful things.
I got more.
She gets up very early.
You listen. You are the core of yourself. You are mother fed. I just loved that. You are mother fed.
I loved it too.
Her words are your words, and you trust the mother word in you.
That is beautiful.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That is like. It's like a whole poem all by itself, just that.
It is. It is. It really.
We can show them.
Oh, here. These are the. Look at this, guys.
Let's see, here's some
Wow.
yellow here.
This is This is one of the new pieces.
Mm.
It's actually a vein, a person, a
Yes.
vein.
Oh, wow.
And
Oh.
look at the yellow cutting
Yeah.
up through like tulip. I mean,
Yes.
so these are cutting up through after years of
Wow.
being underground. They're cutting up through, and here's the other one.
So,
Yeah, it
you
is.
guys,
All of
this is
these
all-
are like they're emerging.
Yeah.
They're having to. Mm.
And then there's
Wow.
that guy right there.
Oh my gosh.
He's quite a face.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That is so cool.
Wow.
That was really. I wanted Robert
Thank
to
you.
show
Oh,
you
wow.
all. So
That's awesome.
yeah, I did. Yeah, there and there.
Oh, this is exciting.
Isn't he cool? I just
Yeah,
love
he
him.
looks. I love his.
'Cause
eye
that's
with
all that yellow, and he looks like you have the feeling of tulip with him.
Mhm.
And then,
Yeah.
so he's a being a carrier of a lot of cutting edge
Wow.
ideas.
Wow.
Mm.
Oh, this is so
That's
cool.
that other one.
I love this.
Mm.
No, that was a video there, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, look at all that texture.
Video.
So I'm glad you brought that up. I hadn't thought about it, but it's cutting, and there's a yellow and black, and
Yeah, there's all that yellow
yeah,
that went on.
see that
Mm-hmm.
That is a lot of yellow.
makes me feel lots better about this.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
you
Keep on
Thank
talking.
you.
I'm just
Mm-hmm.
thrilled.
I really enjoyed this part too. There's a new crop coming that doesn't quite look like the ordinary, and they call them indigo as if their color sorts them out. And I think it's always cool when you can come up when you say these things. It's like something happens on the inside when these words come through. It's like there's a new crop coming, like inside yourself. Like I've never thought of a new crop. It's like, what's gonna emerge this season inside of me? And I think of corn, and all the different types of corn that could come up, and it's like, what kind of, it's funny because the corn is called an ear of corn and like listening and.
Well, do you remember in the
Listening
film we watched,
deeply.
the little girl put corn
Upper nose.
up her nose, and
Oh,
she
right.
was
And she's
afraid
worried.
gonna come, and the ear of corn was gonna
Oh,
go
Grow
out of her
that's
ear.
right. That's so funny.
So it's like the same.
Oh my god. That's right. Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Well, I have to say, I think the summer I spent, the summer in Iowa, I learned a lot about cornland, but also just that was a huge new crop that grew inside of me.
Mm.
That whole
Oh.
experience of being there all by myself, and just I'll never forget that time, and I love all the different moments throughout life where there's new crops that come, and I just have to keep remembering that can always happen every season.
Mhm.
You know, every.
Well, I think
something
they
new.
called you here from the cornfield.
I think you're I think you're right.
build it,
If
they
you
will
build
come.
it, they will come. That is so true. Let's see. What calls for allowing is listening. What calls for listening is the ability to give time to the space needed.
Mm.
It just seems like there's a lot of space and breath inside of this,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like you could sit with that. But I love that repeating. What calls for allowing is listening, and you could just take that in, just.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like that next part, what calls for listening is the ability to give time to the space needed. And, like, pause, breath, sit inside of. Like, you could just really, almost like a meditation, you could really go deeply inside of those words.
Oh, thank you.
It's really,
I love that.
really pretty neat. And lastly, I really enjoyed the moments add to the music of sound, the voice of compassion. I don't know, there was something about that phrase, voice of compassion, that
Mm-hmm.
activated something inside of me.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, I think sometimes you don't think about that with music and stuff, that you're activating a voice of compassion, but it sometimes is finding that voice of compassion for yourself. It may not necessarily
Right.
be an outside
Mm-hmm.
voice that you're using, but to find.
Yeah.
That's huge.
I think
Yeah,
a lot of
to
people are
listen for
looking for
that.
that.
Yeah.
And I'd like to activate more of that.
Me too. Me too. Very much.
I guess one more. Making it up is always good for a fresh, intuitive start.
Oh, that's wonderful. You just lie.
I like these little nibbles
Yeah.
and nuggets. You just want to dip that in some honey mustard.
Yeah.
I better stop before I fall over.
Or you could make it into a popsicle.
That's true.
Or for me, a fudgesicle.
Oh,
There you go.
there we go.
Oh, man.
Thank you all so much.
Thank
Yeah,
you
this
so
was
much.
wonderful.
Thank you all so much.
I
That
think there was a
went
lot
later.
of there's a
later.
lot of hope in this title too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Now we're
Yeah.
going to look at the screen and make
We're all
sure
kind of in
that
our
we've,
sleep now.
that we've,
It's 10 o'clock.
that we've recorded beyond however many seconds the other one was. Yep, we're still going. How about that?
At least
Yeah.
we recorded. Thank
Uh-huh.
you all so much. This
Thank
was
you.
wonderful.
Yeah, thank you all for attending,
Yes,
being here,
yes.
being part of.
Yes, and thank you, Diane.
Yes, thank you, Diane.
For wanting this work that always makes it
Mhm.
just delicious.
Yes, it does.
And thank you, everyone that comes to listen
Uh-huh.
to these classes.
Yes.
Hope they cheer your heart and your soul like they
Mhm.
do ours.
Yes, indeed. Well, that's it for May 17th. We'll see you on the 24th.
I'm so sure.
Here at the same
That's it for us.
station.
What is that? Here, that show that the guy from
And have a pleasant tomorrow.
he talks. That's here from.
news from Lake Wobegon.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
the
what
news
news
from
from Lake Wobegon.
Wobegon.
Okay, well,
Okay.
until next time.
Love, love, love.
Bye.
Bye.